Hey guys, what's going on? It's Chris here. We are looking ahead to today's slate for the 19th of March. Hopefully, you guys all have been doing pretty good. Had a couple weeks off, doing some stuff around the house, family things, stuff like that. But we are back at it here for the last little bit of the NBA. As normal, if you do like the video, leave a like. I definitely do appreciate it. And also hit that subscribe button as well. We do have MLB just right around the corner, and we are going to be doing that for premium as well for you guys. Probably going to be doing videos from time to time for baseball as well. So we'd love for you guys to get in on baseball or NBA as well. Don't have the baseball prices set just yet, but if you guys are interested in that, definitely let me know on Twitter. We will have a pre-season sale that's going to be cheaper than if you buy the season pass once MLB starts. So we'll have that all available for you guys as well. So yeah, if you guys want to come join us for $9 for the day, that includes two lineups. If you just want one lineup, just gonna be $5 for the day. $25 for the month. If you want the rest of the season, including the first two rounds of the playoffs, it's going to be $45 for you guys. And yeah, so if you guys want to get in on that, check us out on our Twitter. That will be in the comments section below for you guys. And we'd love for you guys to come join us and win a little bit of money. So anyway, let's go get into today's slate. So our first game is Houston and Orlando. We have a 208 and a 2.5. So there is a ton of really good late games here. So I don't know how much exposure I want to some of these early games. Um, I mean, there's still exposure I think to be had for the Rockets and Magic here in a GPP. It's a 208, one of the lowest on the slate. So, but they do have some good fantasy guys here. So personally, I'm probably not going to play any of these guys in cash games. Maybe Wagner, maybe Paulo. But I think most of these guys are kind of GPP guys. I mean, for the most part, they're pretty healthy. Besides Thompson, Jalen Green's been popping off. Fred's been all right since he's came back. Wagner, Paulo, they're always good. But you got to remember, both these teams are some of the best defenses in the league. Wagner's 81. He's been struggling. You could always look at him, but I don't know. It's one of those ones where I just don't feel comfortable in cash games because I think it's just going to be a really good grinded out game. But fantasy wise, there's so many other games out there. So is there anyone a must have? No. Tournaments, yeah, don't mind a couple of them, but I don't really need anybody in a single entry. Um, maybe Paulo, maybe Wagner, but that's the only ones I would consider in a single entry. Dallas and Indiana. This is an interesting one here. So as we know, Dallas has just been terrible with the injuries. 234.5. We have a 10.5 spread. So thankfully, this is one of the first games of the day, so we should get the injury news on these guys relatively early. Halberton and Williams are both questionable. Obviously, if Williams is out, that's going to help out guys, like Dinwiddie and stuff like that. But they're going to be really shorthanded if Williams can't play. I don't know where they are on the minimum, but they're getting down there. And then we got Halberton. Don't know if he's going to play if he's out. Nembhard could have a bounce back. He's been having a couple bad games, but I could see him having a bounce back here. Maybe 24-25 against the Dallas team that's just not good at 5,400 if Halberton's out and Siakam as well if he's out, and we'll talk about him here in a second. Other guys, I don't mind Clay, Benedict, Mathurin, 5,500. Like I said, if Siakam and Halberton are out, solid play. Um, like I said, don't mind looking at it. Dallas, you got a couple of these guys. I just don't know how many of them I really want. PJ probably going to have a half decent game here. Aaron Neesmith, like I said, if those guys are out, he's probably one of my favorite Pacers at $5,800. Was out against Minnesota, but it's been a couple days now. He's all fresh. I think get you 28-30 in this one, especially if those guys are out. Like I said, don't know what's going on with Siakam. Personal, it's questionable. So we'll have to see. Jarris Walker's also questionable. So, like I said, Obi Toppin's going to be very, very chalky. We saw what he did last time out. So, like I said, he will just be probably 50-60% owned. And then you guys got guys like Turner. You can look at him. Maybe Brian gets you some GPP points off the bench. But for the most part, like I said, just got to keep an eye on the injuries. And that's what we're going to be saying for most of these games. So, as of now, like I said, if those guys were out, like I said, Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin, um, Aaron Neesmith, like I said, my favorite, and Obi Toppin. If Halberton and Siakam both play, I don't really have a ton of these guys. If Halberton plays, Siakam sits, obviously Toppin, but then that's probably really it from that one. So keep an eye on the injury news. Next one we have is Detroit and Miami. Don't really have any injury news for this one. Wiggins is questionable, but besides that, it should be a normal game here. We have 218, 4.5. So I think this is another one of those GPP. I don't think a lot of ownership's going to, and Tyler, I think they're all really good in GPPs. I have to see what the ownership is, but I think it's going to be a little low. But yeah, those guys are solid. Jalen Durant, you could also look at him. But once again, single entries probably don't have these guys. Maybe Cade, but he's 10-6. But overall, it should be a good game. So if you're playing multiple lineups, I don't mind plugging in a couple of these top guys. All right, Philly and OKC. So this is where it gets really interesting. We have a 226, 11.5 spread. Still 11.5 spread with most of their starters out. That's freaking insane. Yeah, so let's go break it down for you. So Shea's out, Maxi's out on the other side. Carson Wallace is questionable as well. So Gerard Butler comes into play. So with all these OKC guys sitting, yeah, they still have good defense, but it's not as good as it would be. So I don't mind playing a couple Philly guys here. So Butler's not bad. Um, Jalen Hood Shaflio, I think that's how you say his name. He also got quite a bit of run last time out. So another guy to look at 4,500. He's one of their young guys who used to play for the Lakers. So looks like they're trying to get a lot of these young guys some pretty solid run here the last 3 weeks to a month of the season. Um, and then Kelly Oubre is doubtful in this one. So if they're going to continue playing Quentin Grimes, I mean, shoot, why not? Um, I mean, he's playing massive minutes. He's literally having 35, 40% usage rate. So, against an OKC team that's deflated a little bit, I don't mind looking at it. Another guy to look at here, if all those guys are out, especially Case and Wallace, is Isaiah Joe. Slight revenge game here against the 76ers, his old team. The only thing about him is he rely on his shooting. So if his shooting's not on, you're kind of screwed. But with all those guys out, extra usage rate for Joe. So don't mind looking at him. Um, Another guy I don't mind looking at, especially if Kelly Oubre is officially out, is O'Shea Brissett. Looks like he just signed a contract, especially if Yabusele's out. If Yabusele's out, Bichette played 42 minutes against Houston. He's not bad. I've seen this guy play quite a bit. He's been in the league, kind of bounce around. If he gets, 42 minutes again against not as well, OKC's a good defense, but they're more deflated than Houston was at the time. So maybe, Brissett can get you 25, 30 fantasy points in this one. At 4,400, definitely don't mind looking at him. Alex Caruso, always in play, especially, like I said, if those guys are out. Chet Holmgren will probably be a very popular play at 8,200. And then, like I said, Drummond and Bona are both out. And then Isaiah Hartenstein, another guy, he's questionable as well. So that's very interesting. Um, but yeah, like I said, Chuma may have to play a little bit, but I don't really like him. He's not really an offensive guy. He's more of a defensive player. Likes to steal the ball a couple times. Not like I said, as you can see, more of a defensive rebounder and a steals guy. So, but if he starts and gets you 25 minutes at 3,600, he can get you probably 23, 24 fantasy points. I could see him, but I don't know who's starting. But if he starts, don't mind. If he doesn't start, don't really care for him. So that's going to be an interesting one there. OKC, like I said, probably load up on two or three of those guys. That's what the rest of the field's going to do as well. So New Orleans and Minnesota, really no injury news in this one. We have 228 and a 13.5 spread here. So as of now, there's nothing going on. Guys like Edwards, Randall, McDaniels, they're okay. Reed, Rudy, they're all right. Cash game plays, Dante. Um, Maybe Edwards has a little bit of GPP upside. But like I said, with all these other games that are coming up, I just don't really have a ton with the 13.5 spread. So, like I said, these guys are all right plays. They're going to get you points, but they're not really guys I'm going to be targeting here tonight. So, I'm personally going to be moving on. We have New York and San Antonio. We have a 227.5 and a 9.5 spread. So, another one of those kind of games. Brunson continues to be out, so guys like Karl Anthony Towns under 10,000 still in play for me against the San Antonio team. That's not the greatest against centers right now, so Towns can get you 45-50 in this one if it stays close. Josh Hart could be an alright option. His usage rate's still not really high with Brunson being out, so he's more of a, 9 points, 10 rebounds, 7, 8 assist guy. Definitely a lot more playable in DraftKings with the triple-double bonus over there. Keldon Johnson, Slocum, like I said, you could play those guys if you want. They're not really needed. Devin Vassell and Castle, I think they're kind of overpriced right now. They're going to get you about 35 to 40, but they're all right. But Kel Bridges is your GPP play. Like I said, boom or bust. He's been getting quite a bit of points recently, playing a ton of minutes, but just doesn't do anything else besides points. So that's the only bad thing with him. Miles McBride, 25-30 from him. And that's mostly it. Paul maybe, but his usage rate stinks right now. So couple maybe, but nothing to really take over the slate. All right, Washington and Utah in this one. 234 and 5.5 here for Utah. So once again, there's a ton of just bleh in this one. Poole looks like he is doubtful. Brogdon and Smart are both out, so Carrington's probably going to have to carry the load here for him. So a good cash game play for sure. George, Sexton, Collier could be all right options. Koulibaly's out as well, so like I said, they're really hurting on the front line. I mean, guys like AJ Johnson's probably going to have to play a little bit here as well. Played 34 minutes, 8-7, 4-1, had 19.46 turnovers. But, he's young, another guy, that can probably get you 24, 25. So, AJ Johnson, a guy to look at. Um, Justin Champagnie, another guy to look at if he starts. He didn't start last game, but should start in this game and, takes over usually on the offense. I picked him against Detroit, and he only got me 22. But with all those guys being out, definitely don't mind Champagnie, only if he starts. If he doesn't start, not really a big fan of him. Keyshawn George, also questionable if he does play. I don't mind looking at him. His usage rate will probably be a little bit higher with all these guys being out. So don't mind that. Walker Kessler's out. Intrigued to see who starts. If Kyle Flabowski starts, don't mind putting him in there. Collins is out as well. So if Kyle starts, don't mind looking at him. Guys like Tristan Vukovic is also in play. Only played 24 minutes, but he can still rack up. So, like I said, this is another really good game to target here. A lot of value, a lot of chalky value as well. Memphis and Portland. Let's get on to the good games here. Well, better games, I should say. 235.5, and we have a 4.5 spread here by Memphis. So, Ja Morant is out, so it's going to be Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson season. More Bane than anything. So, Bane for me, one of my better plays of the slate. Scottie Pippen is questionable. If he's out, Luke Kennard is definitely 100% in play. If Pippen, even if he does play, Luke Kennard is still in play. Pippen definitely becomes more in play if he starts for obvious reasons. But yeah, like I said, Luke Kennard's not in too bad of a spot. Jalen Wells, another guy, if he gets to start here at 4,300, not a big offensive guy, but can get you a couple steals. And if he's going to play, 30, 35 minutes, I don't mind him. Is he the best value play? No, he's not, but he's, a value play that could be considered. Denny Avila, like I said, Sharp, these guys are all in play, with that really high total over there. Zento Mata is still questionable. Brandon Clark could definitely come into play. GG Jackson is in G League. So I don't mind looking at guys like Zach Edey. You're at 5,200, like I said. They're hurting pretty good at that area, and he's been playing all right recently, and, Portland's pretty big with Klingman over there, so I don't mind looking at Zach Edey, but I wouldn't put all your cards on him, but, don't mind looking at him. All right, Chicago and Portland. Let's get this moving here. We got a ton of games today. Chicago and Phoenix, 234.5 and a 6.5 spread here by Phoenix. Yeah, so an interesting one. We'll see if Giddey plays. If he does play, definitely affects guys like Trey Jones. If he doesn't play, Trey Jones definitely still in play. Price is getting up there though, but like I said, not too afraid of Phoenix's defense. So Kobe White, Trey Jones, like I said, those guys are in playing cash games. Booker's a solid cash game play. Price is getting up there at 93, but he's in play. I don't mind looking at Kevin Huerter if Giddey's continuing to be out. If Giddey plays, not looking at Huerter at all. But Huerter, another solid play for about 24 to 25. Matthias Bazulius finally had a half-decent game last time out. Only played 29 minutes, but his minutes are kind of fluctuating all over the place right now. So if you think he's going to get his minutes again, don't mind looking at him. Kevin Durant's kind of taking a back seat right now. So don't really want to touch that much. and that's really it. Don't know how to say this guy's last name, but we're gonna look Ozo. Another guy you can look at playing all right minutes. Not really a high usage rate guy. Gets a couple steals and blocks. So you can look at him at 49, but they did price him up just a little bit. So there is that. Moving on to Denver and the Lakers. Jokic is questionable in this one. Let's see what the spread is. We only have a 2.5, so I expect Jokic to play in this game with that 2.5 spread. Um, because if not, it should be at least a 5 or 6 by the Lakers. But yeah, Murray, I expect Murray and Jokic to both play in this one here, and Luka is probable. So, Jokic comes into play, Luka comes into play. Jamal Murray could get you 35 to 40 in this one. Austin Reeves comes into play. Braun sat out last time as well. Another guy you can look at. But yeah, this should be, for the most part, a healthy game besides LeBron, I feel like. So, I mean, Jokic is almost 13,000. I think you can make it work, but my goodness, he's expensive. So, yeah, like I said, I expect these guys to play. If they don't play, Porter, Westbrook, all those guys come to play. But Jokic at 12.9, man, that's expensive, but I think he can definitely be worth it for sure. Is he a must have? No, definitely not. But, Jokic is always good. He always has potential to get you 75, 80. All right, Cleveland, Sacramento to wind up the evening here. We have a 235.5 to 5.5 spread here. I'm surprised it's only a 5.5. Did Cleveland play last night? Okay, so Cleveland. Okay, so Cleveland played last night. With it being only a 5.5 spread with Sabonis being out, that tells me that they potentially could arrest maybe one or two of these guys here because there is no way in heck that this game should be only a 5.5 spread with Cleveland being as good as they are in Sacramento with Sabonis being out. So, like I said, watch out for that news. Guys like Mobley, maybe or Mitchell or something like that, maybe those guys sit here on the back to back. So keep an eye on that with that 5.5 spread. So um, if all the Cleveland guys play, don't really care for them. If one or two of them sit, then yeah, guys start coming into play if people start sitting. So definitely keep that in mind. With Sabonis being out, I don't mind taking shots on GPP guys like Jake Lavara. Um, there we are. Sorry about that. But yeah, 23 minutes last time against Memphis. This old team with Sabonis being out, he was averaging about 24, 25 minutes. So another guy I don't mind looking at here, but it's not the best matchup, unfortunately, for him. So, maybe 6 out of your 150 you would put him in. Like I said, if some of these guys do sit for Cleveland, Max Strauss comes into play, DeAndre Hunter comes into play a lot more. Um, yeah, so we just honestly, I can't say much. Maybe Ty Jerome comes into play as well, but right now I need to see if anybody sits. But playing this game long enough with a 5.5 spread, knowing how good Cleveland is and how knowing Sacramento's mid and without Sabonis, I know personally this should be way more than 5.5. So, like I said, that to me shows that people may sit in this game. So, with that being said, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, I definitely do appreciate it. Like I said, ton of games, ton of news. If you guys can't keep up on all the news, like I said, let us do the job for you. Like I said, only $9 for the day or $5 for one lineup. $9, like I said, get you two lineups. So don't join us for our month pass, 25 for the month. Like I said, we have baseball coming up here in about a week and a half or 2 weeks or so. So definitely excited about that as well. We'd love for you guys to come join us for that. So, all right, once again, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.